Have you ever experienced a time where you don't know what to draw or you feel like you lack inspiration? Have no fear. Crack open an art book. Art books are full of potential inspiration, and you can learn something new. Today, I'll be going over some art books that I use for inspiration, and trust me, there are a lot. So here I have a bunch of art books that I use for inspiration, and usually when I'm looking for inspiration, I'm looking for a very specific thing. Like for example, if I want things with gesture, I look at Mob Psycho 100's Genga books. The key animation has a lot of gesture, and you can see how like the characters move and how each thing is very intentional. Like each frame is very intentional. Meanwhile, if I want something that's more flowy, I look to Art Nouveau and Mucha. If I want something that's more dynamic, I usually go for Yu-Gi-Oh! As you can see, these aren't really art books. This one's about card art, and then this one is like the actual manga of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. But they're so integral to my art style that I consider them like pretty important art books for my artistic process. So I guess we can start with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Okay, starting with Yu-Gi-Oh, I have the first volume of Yu-Gi-Oh Zexal, which is actually signed by Mark Thompson, Astral's voice actor. I hope to one day get Yuma's voice actor to sign it too. Um, but the manga specifically has a lot of like it's not drawn by Kazuki Takahashi, it's actually drawn by Naohito Miyoshi. I like using like this book specifically for paneling. As you can see, the art style is a little bit more inconsistent with how they draw Yuma and Astral because this is the first volume. And the later volumes have the characters more consistent. However, I think that this one specifically, in terms of introducing the characters, specifically this one, the first introduction of Utopia, the paneling is so dynamic, and that when I make my own comics, I typically reference the like this as a way to introduce like new characters and new cards. So that's Zexal. And then I have a an art book of just cards. So there's gonna be a like there was a high resolution like artwork series gallery for a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I didn't get to go to because it's in Japan, but I would like to see that one day. Most of these are things about combos and such, and like cards that they reprinted, as well as merchandise that they made. However, there are some very important posters in here which have full art versions of some of the cards. For example, the U-Bell fusion. I forget what they called it in English. I think it was like the Loving Defender Forever. But I like looking at this for inspiration as well. And it came with like some extra cards too. Like for example, the Phantom of U-Bell, which is in like an ultra rare printing, which we don't have I think in the TCG. I think we only have secret and ultimate rare. So it's really cool to have gotten that. I saw it on the front and I was like, okay, I have to have this. But yeah, that's it for my Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Yu-Gi-Oh art books. We can go to something else. So the second subsection of this video will be about Art Nouveau and Mucha. Um, so I've used a lot of Muka's work in my own work. Like I've used specifically this composition for making a like Minerva Yu-Gi-Oh like poster kind of thing as like a study. And I think that a lot of his background work is what um I take the most inspiration from. Yes, like the women are like really pretty and like they're very gestural, but I actually prefer the graphic design aspect of the backgrounds and how this one's another one that I used as a study, and how like flowy but also contained everything is. Um, Most of Muka's work was used for advertising, posters, things like that. Um, so when I look at my own work and I'm trying to make something that's like marketable, I usually look to this because although his work was made in like the 1800s, it still looks new. It still looks very like something that you would see today. In terms of like if someone wanted to like advertise a pretty lady or like a perfume bottle or something like that. It is a timeless way of drawing. So I that's the inspiration that I take from Muka specifically. And I really like this book in particular because it's very big. Like I'd say it's like what like it's a little more than a foot tall, right? Um I have a ruler over there, but I don't want to pull it out to measure it. But the prints are very high quality in this book specifically. That's why I use it, even though sometimes I can't read what it's saying. I try my best. I try my best to practice Japanese, but sometimes I cannot read. I'm illiterate. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm illiterate. But yeah, that's what I like about Muka and his art book and or this particular art book, which was not put together by Muka, but by someone who also appreciates Muka's work. And last but not least, we have the Mob Psycho Genga books for key animation. I actually have both the one from season 3 and the ones from season 1 and 2, but I actually made this bookcase to hold my season 1 and season 2 books because I was tired of having them like get damaged in my college moves. So I thought, maybe I'll just like it got stuck. Maybe I'll just keep them in like a little book or like a bookcase so that I can keep them safe. And it works. They actually look pretty nice. They still, despite all of the moving and such. But I think the one that I'll show will be the season 2 one because I think that's my favorite to look at. Season 2 had a lot of really really great scenes and especially like the in the Mogami arc. That in particular really spoke to me from an artistic standpoint, especially in the scenes where like Mob is living in this fantasy world where like of what could have been. It really, oh god, it's so good. I don't want to talk too much about Mob Psycho like specifically, but the oh, this is also another scene that I reference a lot. The scene where Shimazaki is like dodging the bullets. Oh, it's so good. It's so well done. And then if you can see in the corners here, they actually have like parts of the key animation for the opening. If you flip through them like this, can you see it? Yeah, you can kind of see it. Yeah. And they do this in almost all of the books. So, except for the third one. So, in the third Gengashu book, we actually have a separate little booklet that has the stuff for the opening, the ending, and the scene where Reagan takes off his shoes and is running towards Mob in the storm at the end of the season. And it is so good. I actually have the book over there, but I like my desk is a little like crazy right now. So it's on my bookcase. I promise I have it. It's really cool. But yeah, this like the season 2 art book in particular just really speaks to me. Oh my god, this is such a good scene. Oh wow! Like I'm just looking at it, and like the fight between Shimazaki and Teru was really well choreographed. Where he just like goes like flying through like I think it's a like a tennis court. Man, like in every single one of these poses are very intentional. Like you could stop every single one of these at any given point and you would see a dynamic pose. And that is what animation is about. And it's about being intentional and making sure that like you're showing movement in the most effective way. And I think that Mob Psycho is like a shining example of intentional movement. Because every single one of these like freeze frame poses are like they're important. I'm just looking through it now. Like I'm just looking through it. Oh man, what a treat. What a treat to look at. I'll flip through some more for people that want to look at it, but it is I really recommend if you can find these and you're an animator, like to look at how they like how intentional these drawings are. And Mob is interesting because it's not the usual anime style. They're very clearly taking from one style. And he has a his art style is very different, but also very intentional. Um some people are like, "Oh, I don't like one style. It looks like too amateurish." But I think that his oh, this is the Mogami fight. Oh my gosh, it's so good. His style is very intentional and like uh his storyboarding or like for like each comic panel is really good. Like it's very effective in um showing like the emotions that the characters are feeling and the emotions that the audience is supposed to feel. But yeah, I love Mob. Can you tell? I love Mob. I don't get to talk about Mob as much as I usually like to. Usually I would be waxing poetic over Yu-Gi-Oh, but like these books are just so exciting. Like actually I'll flip through some more of like the other seasons. But I think well, season 3 is the most how do I put it? Season 3 is the most flashy, right? It has a lot of like really big name animators. That's why the book is so thick. It is they documented everything. The Dimple fight with um like the broccoli goes insane. It like they have everything here. And then also the like conversely, you have the alien arc, which was animated beautifully. I know some people didn't like it as much because it's different from the usual style, but it's like it's gorgeous. It feels like a Ghibli movie. And the character like acting is also really good. And then you get into like the crazy cinematic part of the episode with the character that got like I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. I think it's Inukawa, where he gets like abducted by the aliens. God, it's just what a treat. And then the last like third of the book is all dedicated to the final moments. Oh my gosh, this was great. I was so happy that they included this as a big like frame. Sho is my favorite character, and I think like his relationship with his dad is also really interesting. But like, God, it's just so good. It's all so good. And then of course there's the final stuff with Reagan and Mob. It's what a treat. What a treat to look at. I should rewatch the final season again. Um but I hope that this helps. It's not this hasn't been a very professional video. It's mostly me gushing about how much I love art books and such. But I hope that like this is an example of how inspiration can come from the things that you love. Um, well, my art doesn't look like Mob. and my art doesn't look like Mucha, and my art doesn't look like Yu-Gi-Oh for the most part. I mean, I can try and make it look like Yu-Gi-Oh, but um the important thing is to take what you love about each individual artist that that you like and make it your own. It's not about copying it verbatim. It's about changing it into something that is yours. And I think that's really important. And I say that as I'm flipping through the pages with Ritsu coming into his own person. Wow. I love Mob. Can you tell I love Mob? I love Mob Psycho 100. Anyway, that's been my video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was an excuse for me to show off the things that I love. I love looking at. I hope that you have a good day if you watch this. And I hope that you'll stay tuned for any other videos that I make. This was I just wanted to see if I can make a video. You know? I just wanted to see if that would be fun. And that's where I'm at right now. So, peace. See you later. Bye-bye.